And if you're jumping in right now, just hit me up in the chat. I want to make sure that it's working for everybody. You know, say hello or what have you. You know, give it a minute or two. Sure people are checking it out. Let me just go here. Alright, we're live. We got 3 people. Alright. 4 people. Okay. You can see that, right? This is my view. This is my view. I'll show you my view, showing there's 4 people here. Alright. This is not cropped for YouTube. But it's saying I had 3 views. There's no money in this, and actually the money thing on live videos, that's crazy. Interrupt. And that, I mean, guys, I'll tell you, this whole YouTube thing, it's if it pays for my cat food, I'm lucky. All right, so it's that bad. So the monetization part of all this stuff is just silly. But I'm not going to have it on a live stream, no doubt. I mean, it eventually, you know, some of my videos stop paying me more than a penny a day. I mean, that's fine. But right now, you know, I'm very transparent. You know, if you come to know me, you know, I don't, you know, the truth of the matter is, years ago, I made a few videos, and you buy your gas at the end of the week. You know, pretty much. It's a very small amount, but it was something. Nowadays, it seems like, it, you know, I mean, I said, all right, well, let me get back into it, add more content, video content, and get into a little side income, but that's not going to happen. I've come to terms with that. I still want to make videos just to share the content like I originally did, and that's what my plan is. I'm going to keep doing that. The actual thing that helps is the memberships. You know, it's $2.99 a month per member. I mean, YouTube takes a large chunk of that as well, which seems a little crazy. But I mean, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but they do. And not you know, about 1/3. So they take, it's $3 a month. They take about $1 out of the 3, and you know, but that $2 a month per member is what's going to keep me, you know, supporting me, giving away things, you know, paying it back to you guys. And that's my plan. I'm going to keep track of what I earn with this, and I'm going to give it back, because my enjoyment is doing the videos. I really do enjoy doing the videos. I enjoy sharing what I know about stained glass. That's never changed, and it never will. And you know, every time I think of something that, you know, do a little video about, I jump up and do it. And I want to do more. I want to do more hands-on in the studio. And anyway, I want to do that. So that's a little backside of the whole YouTube thing. My intentions are driven by me wanting to do stuff, you know, do the videos. It's not money driven, and I'm not accusing others of doing that, but it seems like that's their main purpose in life, is to, you know, make money on YouTube. It's not me. I'm gonna provide the content, and yeah, if I get compensated in a small way, which is basically that's what it is, it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna keep going with the videos, and like I said, I enjoy doing that. I enjoy, just like the forums. I mean, I don't make any money on the Facebook thing. I mean, I really don't. The people that come along and post crazy stuff do. I mean, I make money with my patterns and my books. That's my income. My income is from patterns and books, and I do sell on the Etsy and eBay. I used to do a lot better with eBay. It seems to be falling to the side, like with the economy, but that's my sole income. I am totally reliant on my patterns and my books. And the books, I do okay, but I'm not going and taking vacations. Trust me. I'm lucky if I can buy steak once a month. So that's the truth, and I'm not here to sad story anybody this and that. That's the truth. I do this because I enjoy it. I mean, it takes a lot to monitor, groups. It really does. But I have to. It's rewarding. It's very rewarding. Especially you see people like Tiffany, right? Is she real? All right. Her boat. I mean, how can you not enjoy seeing what people make? I mean, that's what it is. I mean, it's just you see the happy faces and people. They're showing the patterns that the glass they made from your patterns and showing off. It's a big refrigerator door. That's like I call the forum. The stained glass from the big refrigerator door. And there's a lot of discussion on technique, and people have different ideas on how to do things. That's all really important too. But I love the refrigerator door. It's one big refrigerator door. And this goes back all through my life with from kindergarten. But hey ma, look what I do. And doing stained glass and with the family and creating things, and customers coming, picking up stuff, and I'm opening my Coke. Let's see, is it a diet? It's sugar free Coke Zero. It's pretty good. You see their faces when you make a stained glass window, or you install a windows or a church, and people start crying. I mean, if that's not the motivator, I can't. I don't know what is. And you get paid for it, but it's still the core of your enjoyment, overall existence doing glass. It's for the creativity side of it. And when people get creative, beautiful things happen. With the work itself and how people respond to it, how they appreciate it, the feedback from others, and this big refrigerator door we have here called Stained Glass Patterns is a perfect place for that. So nothing can be better for me than have this giant, say refrigerator door. And that's how I treat it. And there's conflict here and there. It comes and goes. But for the most part, people are really open and generous with their critique, and as long as they're not too honest with it. I'm too honest. I say, yeah, you know what? No, I'm not mean, but that's really it. I had a little thinking about all this. The time I spend doing the groups and the YouTubing and the patterns, and you kind of get perspective of where everything is at the moment, and where you hope to be, what you want to do. And the other day, I had in the back of my mind, I said, I want to do the Christmas book, the Down East Christmas book, which I finally got around to publishing yesterday. And it's a nice sized book. It's 55 patterns, and it's all of my Christmas patterns. I even included some really old, like vintage, not maybe one or two, vintage patterns, just to say, hey, look at this, done in pencil. And so it's a nice book, and it's a coil bound. It's my accomplishments of Christmas theme. I was going to do all holidays, and then I thought, I said, this book's going to be 200 pages or better. I said, I'm going to just do a Christmas book. That's what I wanted to do. So I'll have a Christmas book. Maybe I'll have a Valentine's book. Valentine's, and work on getting 30, 40 patterns. So I probably have that already, but enough patterns to make a book, worthy of being a book. Hope that made sense. So that's it. I'm going to focus more on making books, and that's pretty much going to be my testament to the future. Not testament, but my, well, I guess that's a good word. My contribution to the future of stained glass. Because I'm not going to be around forever, and when I'm gone, my books will still be around. And that's it, to me that's like a do moment in your brain. You're thinking, hey, I'll be gone, my books will be around. So that's kind of where I'm going with that, and that's what I want to do, because my core, my core being for stained glass is to be generous in what I know and what I do. My artwork. I'm not the greatest stained glass pattern maker in the world. I do pretty good, and I want to do a lot more sharing. I mean, I just shared that 50 pattern pack that I was reserving for YouTube members, which they got plenty of other stuff. They got the full teardrop book for $10, 100 teardrops, and they got the 60 spinners for $10, and they got all the free patterns that I put up on my server, and I give stuff away every month. My dialogue, and I'm a lot different than a lot of other YouTubers. I think I'm a lot closer, personably with my viewers, as I'm showing you now. I don't want to preach things. I don't want to get too chatty on this stuff. I want to kind of stick to the script. But there will be times when I do open up and I share what I'm thinking. And it's all in the, under the umbrella of sharing. It's what I'm about. My early days with my brothers, and my mom was doing stained glass. She would come to me and say, "Hey Gary, can you make me this?" "Sure, Ma." So I'd make her the pattern, and she lit up, and she made the glass, and the amount of joy I got. I mean, she was thrilled, tickled to death, but she didn't realize how much I enjoyed doing that for her. And it's almost selfish. I feel like I don't plan out saying, hey, I'm going to make something for Mom, make her happy so I feel good. No, it just happens. But that's how I started doing these patterns. I even make mention of that on my Etsy. And, I'm flipping up and down on the the forum here, uh, looking at these beautiful cardinals and the birch trees. Yorkie's Terrier. Boy, I hope you're real. I'm going to go ahead and just click over here. Oh no, it's not real. Someone has 7,000 followers. Unless they're... Unfortunately, I'm going to have to look at this one. Let's see. Sorry guys to bring you into this, but this is what I do. She just joined today. Posted that. This is her. I'm going to look at her profile. I guarantee you won't find any stained glass on here. That's all you're going to see. Yorkie's Terrier. She's got 7,400 followers. Right? And that's all she's got. Right? What they do, so I just said it. It's like, they come along, they post stuff like this, and it got me. So it's beautiful. Well, it's not hers. It's not Yorkie's. It's not your work. You're a piece of garbage. And if you're watching, which I doubt it, you just come here, throw your crap down on the forum, and you get 149 of my members. You're my members, stained glass pattern members, to like and this and that, and look at them all. They all got suckered into your scam. And I can't even report you. I mean, I do, but Facebook does nothing about it. So guys, this is what I'm talking about. If you see something like this, nobody's name is Yorkie's. Look at their profile. Look at this right here. 7,400. That no one has that many, unless you're me. I got 2,000, but that's because I have a lot of exposure. You look at my profile, you're going to see a lot of things. But this is a fake profile. They post these images and get rewarded for doing it through interactions like this, like this, like this. And it's criminal because they're doing it to make money. Right? I'm not even going to waste any more time on it. What I do is I delete, remove posts, and I ban the author. I'm going to delete it, and I'm going to all future accounts confirm. But it's disturbing. It's disturbing. All right. I apologize to everybody that got duped into that. I was too. And look at those beautiful cardinals. Right? She's fake. Yeah, it makes my blood boil. This one looks real. I recognize this lamp, because I design lamps. It reminded me of the Nike emblem. But I'm sure they're real. 2005. See, here we go again. I'm going to have to now, being I've seen this before, it's probably another spammer. Here we go. Unless they're, public figure. To 2005, no. I'm going to check it out. And let's see. Joined yesterday. One post. Didn't answer any questions. And that's it. Now, Donna Peck is a fake. Let's look at the profile. This is what I do. I do this all the time. I say, you look at a profile, all you're going to see is videos where she posts in other places, just to garner attention, and it's just health and beauty page. I love flower. She doesn't even know English, so that's probably Donna. And I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to avoid, I'm not a bigot. It's just that Donna's a fake, she's a fraud, and she's doing it for the money. She's probably grabbed that lamp from someone else, this lamp, took a screenshot of it, and posted it. So Donna Peck, get the heck out of here. Well, this video is going to turn into just a video of me getting annoyed. And what I go through for moderations. You know, and look, you got all these people, 35 plus me. I think I even said it. Oh, that's nice. Oh yeah, look, I'm right there. I give a thumbs up. Look at you. Well, you know what, Donna Peck? Guess what? I'm going to remove the post and ban you. You're out of here. Alright? Jeez. These people, and they'll never respond. You know, people say, oh, you know, can you question. You'll never see them respond because they're fake. And they're real people, but they go around and post their garbage, well, other people's nice stuff, but in the content of their garbage to forums like Stained Glass Patterns. And I'm sick of it. I mean, Facebook really needs to come around and, you know, and have it a special thing that you can report frauds or fakes. I get them all the time. All right. I don't know. Is that even real? It probably is. Somebody asking about Patina. You know, now I'm in a mode where now I got to look at everybody again. But whatever. It's just simple. If you have a mouse, hold it over their name, and if they start saying they got a gazillion followers, they're probably fake. Kimberly's real. I did this the other day, and it never ends. All right. She asked about Patina. I'm sure. I mean, a lot of response to this. I'm sure she's real. If she's not, she's doing a damn good job pulling a wool. So, I mean, I'm not really suspect of a fraud here, but I'm gonna. Just because we had two in a row, I'm gonna check it out. She's been here before, back in July. She's actually commented, so she's real. So that's how I check. Oh yeah, and you know, though I post links to my patterns here. I get a lot of exposure on, you know, search engines and this and that. Yeah, and Facebook posting, like, you know, Yeti. She's going to get a lot of sales from these, you know, posting this image. A lot. So, and there's another thing I support people sharing their Etsy pages, but they need to have full transparency, meaning people must be able to see what you do sell. It's not to know how much money you made. They can figure that out. But your sellers, your popular sellers, which are your sales, they need to see that. Because it's not so much that how much they need to see that, but the reason is why you're hiding it. Right? It's the transparency part with that is, say someone, like say, I'm not saying Jet, you know, please, if you're on, I'm going to call you Yeti or Jet, either one, Jet, I think it's Yeti. I'm going to, say she stole this pattern and she put it up on Etsy and sold it. You know, sold 20 of them. Right? And somebody caught on to it and said, hey, that's my pattern. Well, if you hide your sales data, you could just deny it, remove the listing, and say, no, I never did. Or, unless someone took a screenshot, say, oh, I'm bad. But you know what? If you hide your sales data, chances are no one's going to catch you. Or you're not going to be held, accountable. I apologize, Jet. I'm going to apologize for bringing you into this, but that's the example because you're here. But that's why people hide their sales data. I'm not saying everybody. Some people just don't like it out there, but you know what? It doesn't do anything. Somebody sells 100,000 patterns and they're $4 a piece. You do the math. You don't need to know, and it doesn't tell you what they made. It just tells you which items have been sold, of late, in order of consistency, and that's it just shows sales data as far as what you're selling, which that's important. I mean, also somebody wants to say, hey, what's hot? What's an item on here that is worthy? I mean, but the reason is that they hide that data so they can do unscrupulous stuff, hiding behind that. I'm not saying everybody. But look, it's my rule. It's got to be transparent, as well as the two-tier pricing. You sell one pattern for $10, or I've seen $20, and the same pattern for $2 or $5. It's not so much that one's for commercial, but people pay a little extra to be able to use it commercially. I get it, but that's not the purpose why they do it. The reason why they do it is to say the average person sees it. Oh, the same pattern is $20 and it's commercial pattern, but I can get it for $2. I'm buying the $2 one right now, and it's like a bait and switch. It's a sales gimmick. It's like they get you in the door with something of value, and then they say, oh look, something same exact things, 1/3 the price, and then they have double the sales. It's very disingenuous. It's a sales gimmick that's been around forever. And Etsy pages that do it because at the end of the day, you buy a pattern for personal use. You should be allowed to, and then push came to shove, if you went to the Supreme Court with it, you bought the pattern. It's like buying sewing patterns. You can't make a dress and sell the dress. You can't make a stained glass piece and sell the stained glass. In what world is that? That's like that should be, it's not even it should be legal. It's immoral. Someone buys a pattern, and it's not like they're taking a pattern and selling the pattern. That's different. They're taking a pattern, and they are putting their creativity on that pattern. The color of the glass, the shape of it, and whatever they're doing, it's now they have ownership of that creativity. By forcing them to buy the same pattern at 4 times the price, and say that's for commercial purposes. I mean, come on. No one, and people get suckered into doing that. But if you bought a pattern that was for personal use, yeah, you're using it for your personal use to go make craft items in a sale, craft show. You get the gray line, and push comes to shove. If this thing ever got in a court, they bought the rights to that pattern. They're not selling a pattern. That's different. That's IP infringement. You can't resell the pattern in its state as a pattern. Anything you create from that pattern, it's yours, and you're free to do whatever the heck you want to do with it. That includes selling it. The ugly truth of all that is, if someone says, I'm making patterns only for hobbies, personal use, they're not really going to sell many patterns, because a lot of people want to have the freedom to do whatever they do with the glass they make from that pattern. And they feel, kind of cheesy just for me. I mean, I can't do this, can't do that. I mean, if you make a pattern, sell the pattern. Don't put two different prices on it. It just draws a lot of animosity out of people. It draws a lot of questions. Like trust. And say, what if I do buy the hobby one and end up selling something? Are you gonna put me in jail? I mean, come on. Don't put people through that. And I've spoke to many people about that issue, that two-tier pricing. It is a scammy thing, and it's scammy. Well, look what we got here, $20, but hobby use only, and don't let me catch you selling it. You can have it for 1/3 the price. And that also inspires purchase. It's like, it inflates the purchase power of it, the selling power. Just by the allurement and the bait and switch thing. Don't do it. You have two-tier pricing? Go somewhere else. I will not allow it in the forum. Transparent sales data and two-tier pricing. Those two things. Or pretty much hidden sales data and two-tier pricing. I see it. You're done. I will remove it. The benefit of coming to my forum, 186,000 members, by the way, and probably half of them are from foreign countries that spam us, but no, that's not true. I'm joking about that. But yeah, you post stuff for sale here, Etsy or anything. You put it up on this forum, you're going to get noticed, and you're going to get a lot of return on that. So it is a privilege to be a member that is selling things here, or pointing to where they sell things. It's a privilege. You don't understand that? I mean, I could have a long conversation with you on the phone about it. I'm doing it here, but that's the privilege. You're going to lose it. And I'm looking at, there's a nice kitty, a patina problem. I replied, I said, you probably use baking soda. That's probably the truth. You put the baking soda slurry in there, and what happens is that baking soda gets stuck in all the little nooks and crannies. It's stuck in there. You can wash it, rinse it, scrub it, still have baking soda in there. So when you start putting your cleaner on it or a wax, you're going to start pulling that baking soda out. It's going to come out and actually be abrasive to your patina. Don't use baking soda. I'll scream it till the cows come home. If you're going to use a high concentrated zinc chloride flux, use sudsy ammonia. It neutralizes better. It's the best thing on earth. Ammonia is the best neutralizer on earth. Its highest pH that vinegar is probably higher than baking soda, but the ammonia is the best thing to neutralize zinc chloride fluxes. You're using a natural flux or something with a low zinc chloride content, and you could tell if it's not spitting all over the place. It's got a low zinc chloride content. It's like that Tiger Eye gel flux. I tried it out. It has zinc chloride in it, but it's not a lot. It's not inundated with zinc chloride, like Ruby Flux or Old Masters green fluxes. And I mean, I don't want to start naming it, but I just did. Those fluxes are the most horrible. Oh, they don't smoke, but you know what? The toxic fumes off that flux is more aggressive and caustic to your health. You don't see the smoke, but you're breathing in those toxic fumes. I'll prove it. It vaporizes it. Doesn't smoke. Smoking is actually a good thing. Use oleic acid or natural fluxes like Glass Pro with no zinc chloride in it. It's going to smoke a little bit, but it's not going to kill you, and it's not going to make your patina look like pewter. So you wash it out, soap. Don't dish soap. Scrub it out. You get in there. You don't even have to neutralize that flux. You get it out. Scrub it, clean it up. Then hit it with the patina. Scrub it in till it's a little slurry brown shows up, and don't rush taking it off, but make sure you get it consistent over everything, so you don't leave those little trail lines of if you're fluxing with a cotton swab patina with a cotton swab or a toothbrush or something that just localizes it along your lead lines, you stand a really big chance of getting that ditchification, like a cloudy effect, especially on lighter glass. I think it reacts with the antimony. The antimony is actually a mineral that the flux is eating into or acting with. So that's why you see it happens with lighter glass. If if it happened to you, you know what I'm talking about. It's like, how do I get it off? Just avoid it. My brother Guy actually has a good way, and I've done it. I cheat. I just take the bottle and kind of sprinkle it around, but he actually sprays it on with a spray bottle. Flux, Novocaine. Spray it on. You don't have to go heavy. Take a nice soft brush. With the flux. You could use nylon for that. Just don't buff it with the nylon. You may scratch it. Just kind of get it around, just swish it around and avoid brushing toward you, which will, when the bristles snap back, it's going to shoot flux on you. Patina. I keep calling it flux. That patina will eat your clothing. If you get it on your clothing, it'll, so eating it. It's pretty powerful stuff, actually. And you don't want to get it in your eyes. Just swish it around, get everything nice and covered. Go back over it. When you start seeing, it looks like coffee, like a brown sludge from the patina, that means that it's activated. And when that happens, no rush. Make sure it's spread around. When it's all done, you can actually take the thing, flip it over, do the back. You don't have to rinse it off yet. Do the back, do the same thing, and then within a 20-minute time frame, get it off. Rinse it off with just water. Take your hose outside or in your sink, rinse it off. Get all the patina off. Let it dry on a paper towel or what have you. So let it dry. When it's dry, come back, light spritz of furniture spray. Buff it up with a soft terry cloth or a natural bristle brush with the fine bristles, and just buff it. Especially with these whiskers, you can't really get a terry cloth in there. You're going to be picking away. A brush, you just kind of brush it gently, without bending your whiskers, and buff it. The light coating of Pledge is all you need. If you need a little bit more, you want a little more shinier, and then just buff it. Let that dry. Pledge will actually be damp at first, and it will dry. The polish itself has drying agents in it. It may take a half an hour or so, but maybe quicker, and then go back over it and do a final buffing using the same brush, a dry brush. Just buff it really nice, and then you're done. No finishing compound, no car wax, nothing like that. Just Pledge. You don't have to worry about hard water, soft water, purple water, green water. It's not the water. I'll say that till the cows come home too. It's not your hard water, not your soft water. It's not spring water. It's not distilled water. It's the zinc chloride flux. And if you use baking soda, and do yourself a favor. If you use the zinc chloride flux, get sudsy ammonia. They sell it at the food store. You don't need a lot, and it's kind of rough on your nose, so you want to be gentle with it. Just get it in there, rinse it off, then hit it with the Dawn, and you're good to go. Whatever you do, don't mix ammonia with bleach. That's like you're doing a home bomb recipe. It's toxic. It'll knock you out. So avoid bleach and ammonia. I mean, look it up, Google it. I don't want anybody to be responsible for anyone using ammonia near or around bleach. Even if you pour it down the sink that has bleach in it, rinse it real good. I mean, it's really that toxic. So that's why some places don't even sell ammonia anymore for that reason. So best thing, avoid zinc chloride flux. Get some Glass Pro made by Ed Hoy, or oleic acid. It's natural tallow, flux. It's animal fat. It's made from animal fat, as I see an animal. That's my little flux and patina lesson here. I want to hear anyone saying I got gray, and then you got to use 60-40. 50-50, it will work. It'll actually darken well if you clean it well. But 60-40 will give you a much more darker finish. This is the higher tin content. Takes better to flux. Toothbrush, no toothbrush. I mean, it works, but it's just a nail brush. The things size of the palm of your hand. They're soft. They have soft ones. They have the ones that look shaped like an iron. It looks like a triangle shaped like an iron with bristles on it. You just kind of move it around. None of this spot patina. You don't want to spot patina anything. You want to move it around. All right. So old toothbrush, it's too small. And you could, but it's why waste your time? Why, I mean, I'm not knocking it. It's just, doesn't, to me, it's like cutting your grass with a piece of, with scissors. That's a good analogy. All right. Look at that. I'm doing stained glass lessons on the forum. Look at that. And you know what? I might be wrong. Well, actually, I don't think I know I'm right. But I can be wrong or slightly inaccurate. I would own up to it, but I do know what works. And I'll tell you, that's what works. It's not my way or the highway or what works best for you here. That's what works. And I'll shut the door. Ready? Where's that door sound? Poof. I'm shutting the door on that one. That's what works. Try it. You're going to see it works. And you're like, wow, Gary's right. It worked. Well, been around it. You guys seen how we used to patina our lamps, which that's a whole other big can of worms. I'm going to... Oh, these are great looking bees, by the way. We used to take our lamps in giant vats, 4 foot by 4 foot tubs filled with muriatic acid, water, naturally, it wasn't straight acid, copper sulfate, and we actually heated it up. We brought it up to about 120 degrees and submerged the lamp completely. Just let it sit in there for a good 10-15 minutes. Sometimes longer, you forget it. And it comes out, the lamp has all the solder lines have a coppery pinkish tint to it, blotchy with the black from the acid. because muriatic acid will patina with the copper sulfate. And it's blotchy. And what you do is you rinse it off, and you take a liquid sulfur and water combination with a little bit of soap in there, a little bit of dish soap, Dawn, just for a vehicle to get it, move it around, and you give it a scrubbing, a little overall brush scrub with liquid sulfur, and you could add more copper sulfate if you want, but mostly liquid sulfur, water, and soap. And what that does, it turns that copper sulfate jet black. It smells like rotten eggs, but it works. And you let it sit. Now, the idea of copper sulfate, it's actually copper plating the solder. And folks spend a lot of money and time copper plating, electroplating their lamps with copper to get the finish. When all they got to do is put it, you can put in a bath of copper sulfate and muriatic acid, which that's what it basically is, and be done with it, and you got a copper plated lamp. It's not like copper like you think of metal copper, but it's copper, I guess the mineral, it's in the copper sulfate, which is blue, but the lamps come out with a pinkish tone to them, a coppery tone to them. You're actually plated with copper. Once we got our lamps out, and then we washed them, dried them, and put them out and waxed them later, with pledge, the lamp looked like it was 100 years old. The patina was better than anything that was made 100 years ago. And I'll swear to that. Brass, solder, lead, everything. Because the muriatic acid and the copper sulfate got into the metal. It actually, the acid ate into the metal. And if you put it in too long, things start getting crusty. But, the guys that washed the lamps, and, I did a few. I wasn't a lamp washer, but I knew how it was done. And, I helped my uncle make the batch. One time it was a little weak, so we actually added sulfuric acid into the batch, which wasn't a good idea, but it worked. It worked real good. I think because we had to speed up the process. But that's it. You don't have to copper plate your lamps and put Jack Black on there, whatever, shoe polish. All that stuff is nonsense. Just muriatic, you can buy it in the hardware store. Muriatic acid and copper sulfate. Copper sulfate you could buy as a root. They sell it in the hardware store to kill roots. You pour it down your septic system, it kills roots. It's made for septic system. It's copper sulfate. Take that, muriatic acid, you could do it in a bucket, whatever size your lamp is. So, if you're going to make a batch, that means you're going to make a lot of lamps. But if you're just using a small amount, you could probably just put it in a big bin and just cover it up. Because if you're going to make lamps, you're going to make more than one. And if you're just making 12-inch lamps, small pendant style lamps, you can mix it up in a bucket, like a 5-gallon bucket, a Home Depot bucket, a Lowe's bucket. And, you put your lamp in there, submerge it. As far as heating it up, I don't think you really need to heat it up. It just seems to work a little bit better. You got a fish tank heater in there, but you probably kill it. That alone should be fine. And you could preheat your lamp. You put it in a light bulb under it, and then get the lamp warm. Then put it in the acid. Or I don't think heating it is a major step in the process. It helps. It speeds it up, no doubt. But I'm still talking about patina. That's how we did it. And look at any lamp coming out of the Somers stained glass factory. I mean, years later, we just applied patina like everybody else. We didn't have the big vats. But back in the day, back in the 60s and 70s, that's what we did. And we turned out lamps, you know, 30, 40 a day. You know, you had to do something. You needed a vat. You needed it. I don't know how many, some days, 10 a day, the finished part. 30, sometimes a lot. It'd stack up. All right. Yeah, cute little bees. The honeycomb. I'll try to do a little less on every post. Oh, is it possible to sign a prize? Absolutely. You know what you don't want to do? I mean, you could. You get one of those electric engravers and you kind of sign your name on the glass, on the dark glass. In light glass, you're not going to see it unless you put a little ink down there and fill the scratch up. But you don't want to do that. Dark glass will look better. But the other good option is to go get the restrip you use to reinforce the lamps. Put that down. Get it where it's attached really well to your bench top somehow. If you put a pin through two sides of it, stretch it out a little bit. And then go at it with a engraver. Engrave the brass. Well, what we used to do is we had stamps made up. You put the brass down, you actually stamp your name in it. I mean, that's kind of overkill for the regular hobbyist. But you can buy a stamp with your name or brand on it and just stamp it. And cut your tag and put it somewhere. So it's your marking. Even if it's just your initials. Unless you're trying to advertise your stuff, you put your name, address, and phone number on there. But I found a way to sign my work, and 95% of it is done with lead. Is on the lead itself. I would take a ballpoint pen and just write, I would write Down East stained glass. It comes out real nice. And then the year, Down East stained glass, 98 or 2000, whatever. Little dash and 02. Or it would be dash 25. And right along the bottom lead somewhere, the border lead, and above the fringe, meaning the middle, the heart of the lead. And you could see it after it's installed as well. Another option is if you use 1/4" lead, you could actually write it right on top of the 1/4" lead. And just by the rule of signing things, it should be on the bottom right quadrant of the window. As if, artists would sign, their watercolors and, what have you. So if someone's looking for a signature, they're not going to look at the top. They're going to look at the bottom right. And a lamp would be somewhere along inside a perimeter area, interior perimeter, and or the canopy banding area. And that's how Tiffany signed them. They did it on the lamps, along the skirt, and also on the top, under the canopy. And the way we did it back in the day was we just took the brass tag, which was made from like a rebar material, not a rebar, restrip. It was a little heavier. We used a little heavier brass. It wasn't as thin as the restrip you buy today. But that would probably work. And then we'd cut it and just solder it right into the inside of the lamp where it wouldn't interfere with any of the design. Sometimes you'd have to find a flat area, or try to make one. But that's how we did it. And it's permanent. But yeah, try the ballpoint pen on lead. You'd be surprised. I have a video. I think I put the video in one of these comments. Yeah, I did. I showed how I do it, how I did it. It works really, really well. I would not tell you otherwise. Just do it because I say to do it. That's part of my YouTube irking. I'm on YouTube now, right? people say things and they say, you know, do it this way, but I'm not going to tell you why you should or shouldn't, but just do it this way. Bow to the master. I'm not going to do that. I'll give them a lot of good advice, but I'll also, go through the ins and outs, ups and downs, and whys and why nots. That's all part of it. And you have to. Don't leave people questioning, hey, what about this and that? You can't do that. And when people do that on YouTube, they leave more questions than answers, or reasoning of why they do things. More questions. People become leery of their professionalism, and rightfully so. I just had to throw that out there. I was just talk about the cheapening of this craft by shortcuts or half truths and on and on. All right, enough of that. Granddaughter, Spirit of Glass. All right. I think this is really nice, and your granddaughter probably loves it. But a whole day ago, somebody had a really funny comment, and you didn't respond. What say you, Spirit? Hey, look, somebody commented a day ago, and you didn't even like or nothing. And so my radar starts beeping. I'm gonna go here and say, all right, it's got 1,000 followers. Look, even people that are phony do this. Let's see. It's a page. It's a plus, but I've seen pages do this too. Alright, you only posted one thing. This is what I have to do. July 12th, 22. They've been there over a year. 2 years. 3 years. Huh? Maybe they've just been out of the loop for a while. Let's see. Look at your profile. And I'm not saying you're a phony. I'm just saying, people are commenting. You should give them respect of commenting back. I'm just saying. Alright, you look legit. I should be doing this on my own and not spreading this all out for the world to see. But you know what? I gotta. So you're real. Spirit of Glass is real. My apologies if anyone was offended. Right? But that's what I have to do. That I have to look into the true intention. I should have known. 2022. You've been there 3 years, right? I'm sure you're real. Very nice job. And the colors are beautiful. Your granddaughter probably loves pinks and greens and purples, and you did a really nice job. But please, when people comment, just say, give a like, give a little. I'll do it for you. Instead of something's running slow. There you go. That's what you do. Acknowledge. Say, Okay. Join because I can't wait to do stained glass again. All right. Welcome, Kimberly. Welcome. All right. Can anyone tell me why Sada looks so dirty? Sada looks so dirty. There's a whole copper patina thing. Yeah, you have antique copper patina. That's because you didn't polish it before you put the patina on. You could take that to the bank. You know, and some people will say, hey, you know, you got to polish it first. You know, use stained glass finishing compound. That stuff works good. It's made clarity, makes it. Put it on, wipe it until it's like crazy shiny silver, and then patina it. It works great. I don't know what it does, but flux remover mixed with patina. I don't know. You know what? The flux remover, believe it or not, I looked into what makes CJs. You know, I'm that kind of person. You know, I'm scientific minded. I found that CJ's flux remover is basically Tide liquid detergent on steroids. Also, Dawn Ultra. It's got the same ingredient. I forgot the name of the ingredient, but it's an ingredient it's like a super cleaner. It's really good at cleaning. It has a certain smell to it. I know the smell. And CJ's, you know, you spend $30 a bottle, whatever it is. You get yourself some liquid Tide. Well, actually, better yet, Arm & Hammer. Liquid Arm & Hammer laundry detergent. It's got the same ingredients as CJ's Flux Remover. I haven't tried it, but I'm pretty darn sure it's going to work just as good. And it may smell nice and fresh. Tricky. It's not tricky. See, she's thinking of the right thing. Gotta make sure it's washed and cleaned well, you know. And tricky. You know, it's a simple 5-word response. Wax before patina. Wax with finishing compound before patina. Period. That's it. Some people are finally catching on to it. But I'll tell you, it's like pulling teeth. Got to wax and polish it. Alright, after. Mix with copper, finicky seeds. People still don't get it. No, it's steel wool. That's not it. That's the worst thing you could do to stained glass. No steel wool. Washed and clean and washed and clean. No, that's not it. You're forgetting about the wax, Claire. And then gave up on it and just used black. It's folks still don't get it. I mean, it's almost sad to read those comments. I say it 1,000,000 times. I'll say it here, you know, just because. And I'll keep saying it. Wax before copper patina. Use stained glass finishing compound. NISA compound. First, you have to repeat it. Oop, I gotta learn how to spell too. Finishing compound first. That's it. And the typical reply I get, you can't do that. The patina won't go. It won't make it. Trust me. I was a skeptic as well, and I had this conversation 1,000,000 times. I was like my brother Glenn. He's like, Gary, watch this. What are you doing? Why are you waxing? You know, copper patina. What are you doing? It's not gonna work. He goes, oh yeah. So he waxed it, nice and shiny. Went over to the copper patina thing. We use a meat tray. You know, there's a styrofoam thing. Put the thing down. Put the patina on it. Just got it in there good. Went over to the sink, rinsed it off. That patina looked like a brand new penny. No blotches, no skips, nothing. Perfect. My eyes were as big as dish plates. I could not believe what I was seeing. So I understand the skepticism. I totally get it. But you gotta try it. I'll say it a million times. Use stained glass finishing compound first. Get it nice and shiny, like silver. Perfect shiny silver. You can see your face on it. Then hit it with the copper patina. Scrub it in a little bit, little soft brush like you do regular patina. Get it in there, and then just rinse it off. And once it's dry, you can pat dry it. Once it's dry, spray a little pledge on it and buff it, till it hurts to look at it. It's so coppery and shiny. You will never get a better finish. And to add to that, avoid the zinc chloride fluxes as well. Just use a natural flux. Or if you're gonna clean it first, do the ammonia thing. Strip all that darn zinc chloride off it. Get it to the raw copper. Clean it with the finishing compound. Nice and shiny. Then, because we use oleic acid when we solder, so it's a natural flux. Then, we washed it first. Get soap and water. Then we hit it with the finishing compound, really good. And then you patina it. Dry. Let it dry. Pat dry it if you want. Little light coating of pledge spray. And take a soft natural bristle brush and buff it. That patina it'll look like a brand new penny. You'll make a brand new penny blush. Not kidding. No joke. So really, none of this, it hurts my brain. I think, steel wool, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta do that. No, it's simple. Real simple. Alright. And look what Lori made. She made my honey teardrop, honeycomb. It's beautiful. Look at the Florentine, and she used some, what is that, looks like a Vegla, and some kind of, that prism glass, all different, textures of amber, just in a right amount of composition. I mean, she's got the cathedral and the opaques and then she used this ripple on the bottom. And then she put these little bee embellishments, charms, that soldered right on. I've seen them. They're brass. Brass takes well to solder. Solder them right on. It was so. When I saw this, I was like, "Oh my God, look what she did!" I immediately asked if I could put it on my Etsy page, which it shows proudly on this listing as the first thing you see. This is a beautiful job. This is part of what I said earlier. People make things, and she's tickled. Laura, she made this. She's like, look what I did. I'm not picking on you. Like, you're really happy with what you did, and you should be. As was I. I was like, oh, look what Lori did. Beautiful. And I couldn't expect anything better than it. I mean, for what you did, the combinations of different textures, the cathedrals, opals, and the color variation, the shades of amber, and the little bees. I mean, come on. I mean, what's that say? Shut the door. She rocketed that one. Very nice. I still look at that and go, oh, look at that. That's what I'm saying. The enjoyment I get seeing people enjoy using my patterns. This silly little pattern, she enjoyed it. Clearly she enjoyed it. That's my reward. That is worth more to me than anything. And yeah, good job, Lori. I really appreciate you making that. It really made my day. Oh boy, here's my giveaway. I had my revelation the other day. I said, you know what? I'm the guy that gives stuff, and it's like, you know what? I have all these sweetheart deals for YouTube people, and it's like a cult of YouTube cult. I mean, I love the followers and the support. I really do. So I'm not saying a cult in a bad way, but I'm giving them less. And look, join my channel. You're gonna get a lot back from it. And I was saying, here's 50 patterns for $10. Here's a book. I was giving. It's like, it's kind of apprehensive about doing that. I said, you know what? I need the followers. I need the members. And yeah, I'm giving, but it's like, you know what? At the end of the day, I really am happy that they're taking it. At a really good deal. And I'm okay with it, because the way I look at it, I give away 50 Christmas patterns. I can make 50 more, all different. Maybe 40, but point is, it's not the end of the line with that. I got so many other patterns. They're Christmas patterns. It's July. A lot of people are making the Christmas stuff. And I was thinking, you know what? I got all these people in Stained Glass Patterns Facebook group. They don't want to be a member. Well, that's fine. Or they haven't thought about it. Whatever. They missed, whatever. Doesn't matter. But I said, I'm going to offer this for you guys. And, a lot of you took advantage of it. And I'm glad you did. Because when you start making these sun catchers and doodads, and I mean, it's 50 Christmas, man. There's a lot. There's spinners, all kinds of stuff in there. For $10, it's like, wow, is Gary all right? Somebody, maybe bring him to the doctor. It's like I'm losing my mind. But that was one of the reasons. I said, here I am. I'm paying all this attention to my YouTube, and I give a lot to the group. I do. I share my pattern making. So I fix people's things. I give free patterns. I say, hey, buy me a cup of coffee. What? I do that all the time. But this was a real hit. I said, you know what? You got the 50 pattern pack. It's $10. Get them. I said, I'm going to just do it one day. And it turned out to be 2 days. Now it's like, I said, you know what? I feel bad. People that, when did this happen? And it's like, can I have them too? And I get a million messages. Can I have them? And I say, yeah. And I say, well, if you missed out, message me, because I don't want to look like I'm just, willy-nilly giving stuff away. I was like, yeah, a little effort. Message me. I'll give it to you. And it turned out people are messaging me like crazy. And I said, and it's funny. They're not free. They're $10. And I sold quite a few of them, actually. And I mean, not a lot. I mean, enough. But the bottom line, again, is people are going to start using these patterns. It's July. It's Christmas in July. And I feel really good. And people have come back. They're thanking me for the patterns. And just send another one. I'd love to get it, have it sent. Excited to start. Yeah, things like that. People comment, they message. People still want them. And, they actually, when I start seeing these things being made and posted to the forum, that's when the real payment begins for me. That's when I'm really going to appreciate seeing that, and the fact that I allowed a lot of people to get them, it's going to pay back in that way. All right. Hope that made sense. I really feel like a scammer. I felt kind of dirty. I was like, people $10. I shouldn't do that. With people that bought the patterns, they paid a lot more for them, or I was like, you know what? It's Christmas in July, and you know what? If you took advantage of it, that's good for you. That's how I feel. And the people that spent money on the patterns in the past, paid a little bit more for them, come back. There'll be a lot more really good stuff that I give away and offer, and I do, and I make it worth it. And by the way, I'm expecting I ordered my new book. It should be here. Usually it takes about a week or two. As soon as it comes in, I got to do a proofreading of it. So I get the thumbs up. I'm gonna go. It's already approved for public sales, but this way I could step it up a notch. You know, actually go to distribution on Lulu, my publisher. But once I do approve the proof, I'm giving it away, and probably more. So it's and there's more patterns than this 50 pattern offer. There's more. I found others, stragglers. Found some old vintage stuff that I put in the book. No, it's just a few, nothing crazy. Anyway, shattered by Singles House. New Facebook. I think they're real. This is pretty. This barks up my tree. I love Art Deco, and this one was really well made actually. I could appreciate the thought that went into this design, and the colors too. Very very good job. They make a good bookend. You just shorten it. I wouldn't do that to you. Yeah, where's the pattern from? Oh, wait, yeah, it's right there. Make a copy, print it. I shouldn't say that. Where's I have it available. Oh, it's Samantha Ashley's glass. Well, Samantha, I got my fingers crossed, okay? Because I hope I see transparency and honest pricing. Because if I don't, all of this goes away. I hate to say that. I stand by any promotions. So we're going to check you out. I'll do it right now. Just to be fair. Alright. You got it broken up. You do. This is the sales data I speak of. You can see it lights up when you hold on it. It's showing you what recent sales. All right. That's good. You should do that. It doesn't tell you how much and what's in your bank account. But here I have issues. You have hobby license and a commercial license right next to each other. All right. Now, people are going to say, oh, well, why buy that when I could buy this? It's half the price. So what they do is they buy that and they say, I'll do whatever I want to do with it. Why make me feel dirty if it's a commercial license? And commercial license, what does that mean? I could sell it on Amazon? I could sell it to the Chinese? What does that mean? You're telling me I bought your pattern, but I can't sell it? I mean, that's actually, I don't think it's legal to do that. I mean, I don't know. I'm not, but here's that bait and switch. Right, Samantha? If you're watching, I would suggest strongly that if you're going to have anything for commercial use, clearly they can make it as a hobby. Sell it as allowed to use commercially and get rid of one or the other. And meet it in the middle. Sell it for $4, $4.50. This is a scam, bait and switch technique. Because I guarantee it, if I click on this one, it's not going to say if you want to make a commercial. It may say, well, if you want to make it commercially, somewhere in the listing you're going to say, oh, well, upgrade to my commercial. But more or less, if you click on the commercial one, It's going to say, but if you're going to use for a hobby purpose, here's the $3 version, and it's going to do that. I've seen this trick before, and I'm gonna point it out because I have to point it out. All right, this commercial license. This patent's for commercial or personal, obviously. May be sold. Feel free to post finished social, but you got a credit. There's no link for your cheaper version. That's interesting. See, that's not commonly done. Making me look like a liar. Hobby license. Personally is not be sold. Alright, so basically she removed the buy the commercial one link here, or finished project are not to be sold. Okay, you could say you don't want them listed on Etsy. I mean, that's even, I don't think you're allowed to do that, because if you bought a commercial one, who's to say you bought a commercial, you didn't, or you bought this one, that. But say, here's a for instance, say somebody made it, and say, oh, that's beautiful, you know what, and they had a garage sale one day, and they say, I really don't want these anymore, I'm going to sell them. So you tell them they can't sell them, and then say that person, say they did sell it or give it away, and that person says, you know what, I don't like it, I want to get something different, and I put it up on eBay. So you're going to call the eBay police on them for selling something they don't own a commercial license for? Bottom line is, it's a two-tier pricing scheme to get people to buy this. But your commercial prices are low enough to, justify jumping up to commercial license, but it also provokes a sale of the cheaper version. All right? That's the ugly truth of it. And it's not something I'm making up. This is a sales gimmick. And as per policy of my group, unfortunately, I'm going to have to delete the post. Alright? I don't like doing this. I'm not going to ban you. I'm just going to remove the post. And she's received 2 warnings already. And I'm going to give it, this is a 3rd warning, and we'll put her in suspension. She's going to be suspended. So, I'm going to say, I'll be polite. 2-tier pricing is not allowed in forum links. Two-tier is not allowed in forum links. I'm going to say Etsy. But she knows what I'm talking about. Thank you. Ooh, I spelled Etsy wrong. It's getting late. Alright, Samantha, I apologize if, or shattered by whoever. If you get upset, it's my policy. I stand by it. I have my reasoning. I've given a reason, and it turns a lot of people off. You got beautiful work and beautiful pieces. Just stick with one price and come back and post your link, okay? I don't like doing it, but I have to. I have to stick by my guns. I'm not gonna allow one and not the other, and I'm not gonna do it. I hate doing it. See, it put me in a bad funk. It is what it is. You can call me, message me. You can reach me at my website. My phone number's right there. Give me a call. Say, why don't you allow it? And I'll explain it in detail as best as I can. And the part about saying they must credit you for their work, because when they take your pattern and they put the glass in a certain way and put it in their garden on a certain angle, that's all their creative efforts. Don't take that away from them. Don't try to be part of that. You're selling a template, you're selling a pattern that is to be used for that purpose, to inspire people's creativity. Don't diminish that. I mean, I should put that as a rule. No suggesting people must mention you in their sales if they sell commercial. No. That's spammy, scammy, and it's not good. You can agree or disagree. I don't care, but I don't allow it. And that's one thing I say. You got to credit me for your work. And I let that one go. It's like, you know what? If people want to, go ahead. They should anyway. Say, look, I got this pattern of this one. They should credit you anyway. You don't have to tell them. You could say, if you use my pattern and you'd like to credit me, I would really appreciate it. And most people would do that. They'd say, it's her pattern, and give the credit. Because you're showing that sincerely you would appreciate a credit. All right, that's a little hint from me. All right, Courtney. I don't know how long I've been on. I was checking out my chat. I'm gonna see. Well, I don't have it on the bottom here. Let's just see. Oh, there we go. Look at all the chatters. I'm gonna check them. I agree. There we go. A lot of also. Oh, I think there was more. Oh, there's top chat. Let me go back to live chat. Oh, you know what? Maybe she's commenting on what I was saying. Ella, I believe that's what happened. A mixed mustard. Oh, the ammonia and bleach. Something like that. I tell you, I looked it up one day. I said, I heard people say, don't mix ammonia with bleach. It could be highly toxic. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. I mean, not that I had a habit of doing that. I didn't see why. And mustard gas, that's what they killed a lot of people in wars, right? Something like that. I do it anyway. Just don't post it. Just don't post it. Selling an item make with that pattern. A lot of SUV sell all that way. Also, they don't want you selling the item you make with them. Yeah. Well, don't. Hey, look. They could do what they want, but they're not gonna share their. They're not gonna benefit from the group by doing that, because I disagree with it. I said, you know what? It's a template, and I used the sewing pattern analogy. I'm answering to Ella about SVG pattern sellers, and if you're that protective of your work, charge 10 times as much for it. At least get the financial benefit of it. You're not going to sell them, but you know what? What's the point? I mean, you're making something for someone to inspire someone's creativity. Let them do what they want to do with it. And here's the deal: just don't resell the pattern. This is a big world we're in. I mean, most people live in a bubble. I believe that. They think, oh, what's outside my hometown or this and that. there's no world out there. But you know what? If your design gets out, anybody who actually wants it will buy it, just to credit you or give you the benefit of the sale, because they support your efforts. There's a big world out there. You make something, you offer it for as a creative use template. Don't put restrictions on it. Let them be creative. Let people do what they want to do with their creative angle of it. Appreciate that. You know, I don't know. How can I answer that? Is that me because I'm just stupid? I don't know. I think it's you know, private commercial. I don't know. Hobby commercial. No. I see my stuff on Amazon. People, and unfortunately, it's a Chinese company that makes 1 million of them. I was like, oh, look at that. What am I going to do? How am I going to? You can't stop them anyway. You can't. And they're in China. They don't care. So go ahead. Nothing you can do about it. Somebody does it here. What are you going to do? Put a stink up? Say, oh, you can't use my pattern? Well, they made their creativity from your pattern. All right, let's go to court. And you'll find the courts will side with the person who made the final product, the creative end of it. You sold your pattern to be made into glass. Don't expect to own it forever when someone creates something from it. It's now their creativity. It's now theirs. They're not selling the pattern. It's that simple. That's what I say. You can do, use it as wallpaper, Just, and I tell people who have classes, they got students, 8 students, and they buy a pattern. They ask me, can I share it with my students? I say, absolutely. You bought the pattern. Just tell them to, use it for themselves. Don't be giving it out to everybody. Don't make copies and scan it everywhere. And that's just common decency. And that's one of the main reasons why I put a QR code on my patterns. So if somebody does end up with a pattern, say, oh, where did this come from? Pick up their phone, take a picture of the QR code, and they'll see where it came from. And you know what? It promotes a future sale, but also protects your IP. It puts your stamp on the pattern. For hopes that somebody says, I really like this, like what they did. I'm going to buy another 4 or 5 more other ones, and feel good about making them and selling them and this and that. So I say, you got students, you got 10 students. Don't be printing them up and selling them for $1 a piece. Give the pattern to your student. Just let them know that it's not something to just freely hand out to whoever they think. Some may. Somebody say, all right, I'm going to give it to this one and that. But you know what? I'm not going to tell you as a teacher, you can't run photocopies of a pattern you bought from me for your students. How can I do that? Because if I say, no, you can't do that, you're going to do it anyway. You say, I feel dirty. I don't want to put you in that position. Yeah, share them. Just let them know, don't distribute. All right. It's pretty boho. Look at, there was a discussion about boho the other day. Here's one. This is boho to me. It's bold colors, shapes and lines, and the flowers and the arches. I say it's between deco and modern, and that to me is boho. Very nice pattern. I'm jealous. I didn't make that. Actually, that's something I would be proud of if I made that design. Very, very nice. But she asked a question. Oh, she's just the refrigerator door. I love it. There you go. Very pretty. Anyone have plans for glass cubes for a workshop? Glass cubbies? Workshop? Not quite sure. Glass cubbies. Yeah, working in a cubby? I don't know. Maybe it's a thing. I don't know. Maybe the fish tank thing? I don't know. 10 comments. Some people comment. I'll pass on that one. Experiment using Armor-Etch. Let's see, what did it do? It gave it like a little shadowing. This looks like that peel and stick stuff. It gave it a little bit of like a stippling. Yeah, it's pretty neat. I know that Armor-Etch, you got to put it on, and you got to go pretty heavy with it. It looks nice. Changes the texture of the glass. It softens it up a little bit. I guess, and then you paint it on top, or I don't know. Yeah, you know, whatever, you know, you want to, applications, you know, to glass. More glue. Well, I'm new from Oklahoma. Hi, Oklahoma. Well, you know, I tell you, I look at this and I can't even look at it. I get the heebie-jeebies. Like, is that what my hip looks like? Jeez. That's like, I start thinking of skeletons and blood. You even got red glass. Gee, what are you trying to do to me? I mean, it looks great. Probably for, what is, people, the bone doctors, you know. They probably love it. I have a little issue. I can't look. I'm weird. And when people do hearts too, they go, "Oh, look at that! And a realistic looking heart. And look, that's where that blood comes in. This one." I'm like, oh, let me scroll past. Oh Lord, she's got too artificial there. I get lightheaded thinking about it. Alright, Nebraska, doing glass. Alright, that's a nice kill, by the way. It's like with the Ramp Master, extra wide. It runs on 220. I'm sure it does. There's too much going on here for 110. I mean, it may, but I think it's a 220. Looking for others in 3D. Alright. Last one. Let's see. Simple 30 piece lighthouse pattern. I can't find one I like. All the ones on Etsy are AI generated, and I prefer to avoid that. She hasn't been to my Etsy. Well, Natalie, you can say all. I don't use AI. It's all me. I may use a computer to clean up lines and make different shapes and manipulate things, but it's not made by AI. What are you looking for? Picture for text. Yeah, just how about this? Get a pencil, get a piece of paper, and start drawing a lighthouse. And make sure it's got less than 30 pieces. Right? Seems easy. If you can't draw, I mean, I'm telling you, they're not AI. I'd say about less than 1% are. They didn't have AI back in Glass World's days. I know they didn't. All right. 13. I have to. I have to look. Patty Denny. That's the spectrum pattern. That's a little heavy with the stripes, but that's all right. It's private messages. I agree. I'll say no more. Oh, Star Kitty, you're wrong too. I'm sure there's people that use AI generated artwork. Um, Actually try to make patterns with it, trace them, and you check Pinterest. Huh. I'll throw a pattern up here, but I ain't bothering. I got one with actually I do. I have quite a few actually simple lighthouses. Oh, she hasn't seen my Etsy. Let's go see. I know I got a few. I forget. Actually, I did a pre-cut one that was so simple looking. Yeah, right here. This just got the tops. You got the whole lighthouse. There's less than 30 pieces in there. That's not AI. This one. Got the sun behind it, or the moon. And then this one. Simple one. You can adapt it. I've actually got another one. It was a pre-cut I did years ago. It's 5 pieces. So, let's see. This one. This is simple. It's not AI. These are color fill. This is a hand drawing imported into the computer and cleaned up. Now, what's wrong with that? I mean, you make that, you hang it up. Everybody would know what it is. It's not could be a feeder, a farm feeder for the baby calves. Anyway, I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying don't buy my pattern, but even this one, it's pretty simple. You can blow it up to any size you want. It's got 6x9 and 5x7. It's 9 inch. That's pretty big. It's almost as big as a piece of paper. You can put your little birds on there, and it's pretty simple. And yeah, this is all done with color. This is real glass inserted into the software I have that has glass fills. And it's actually my design using glass to fill in the color. I'll copy it. I'll say, you know what? Here you go. Someone else might see it. I don't know. I don't think, unless you're looking for a specific lighthouse. I don't know. What am I missing? Oh, this thing. I hear something going on in the background. Alright, enough of that. That's kind of, you know what, that's like, it's like, I got slapped in the face. And I know a lot of Etsy designers, and they probably get a little insulted with that comment, but, it is what it is. I mean, Natalie, I'm not being a wise guy. Pick up a pencil and a piece of paper. And, you know what a lighthouse looks like. And no one should tell you that your lighthouse or your rendition of a lighthouse is wrong. Just, pick up a pencil and draw it. You need help finishing it? If you got a sketch, throw it on the form. I'll clean it up for you. That's what I do too. I say, oh, that's Natalie's lighthouse. I'm going to make it work for glass. Make sure all the lines are good, and clean up the little areas that need to be cleaned up. And anyway, my recommendation: pencil and paper. And you don't have to use a big piece of paper. Just sketch it out. Post it. And you watch the magic. I might attack that one. I'll get right on it. This one. I saw this the other day, so that means we're getting an overlap of my forum. We're going to go ahead and turn off this live broadcast. I didn't mean to go so long, but I was checking out my chat. Oh, I got more. Hold on. I'm going to answer the chats. Arthur makes chloramine gas harmful to your lungs and a high dose of death. Absolutely, Arthur. That's what I heard. I know it's extremely toxic. And, I guess if you breathe it, that's where it's going to kill you. Yeah. Oh, look, Mary said hello. Hey, Mary. Hello back at you. Yeah, I heard that, Arthur. I say, you know what they say? Don't mix bleach and ammonia. They say it for a good reason. And that's pretty much what I heard. That it'll do something to your lungs and create like your lungs to water, or you could drown on your own phlegm or something. And it like causes inflammation and eventually death if you don't get immediate hospitalization. So yeah, so don't mix the two. I don't even want to recommend. If you use zinc chloride flux, your better option for a nice looking piece is to use the sudsy ammonia. But make sure you're nowhere near bleach. Even if you're done with you, like I said, you use a bleach cleaner in your sink and it's sitting in the trap in the sink trap. Make sure you rinse it out really good before you pour any ammonia down there. And vice versa. Your trap will dissipate whatever's in it, but your trap will trap any kind of chemicals that are in it. To an extent. Take a pot, fill up the pot, and flush it down like you're flushing a toilet. That's the best thing. And if you accidentally mix it, don't breathe it. Absolutely. Thanks, Arthur. Thanks for the feedback. It's chemicals. Unfortunately, stained glass, we deal with not a lot of chemicals, but a lot of harmful things. Just the heat of the iron and, second degree burns. Glass, lead. Though I don't agree, lead is toxic. I mean, that jury's out on that one. But I guess if you swallow lead dust, if you swallow lead whole, you probably pass it. But you're eating lead dust, like ground lead. I wouldn't do that. Or breathing ground glass. I wouldn't do that. But getting a little lead on your fingers, and accidentally, wiping your nose or touching a piece of food, it's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna kill you. But I would avoid it. Use safety, handling lead. But, growing up in the '60s, and we had lead everywhere. I mean, even grandma used to seal their tin cans with lead. Soldered up the cans. So their vegetables and all their canned goods were sealed with lead. So and they lived to, she lived to 102. So where's the danger, the lead poisoning, to where it's going to kill somebody? And she had a mind. She was sharp as a tack. That mind of hers, at 102 years old, she had all her wits. Lead was well, it's thought to deteriorate the nervous system. Make you you know I don't know, learning disabilities. Your brain cells. I don't know what theory they came up. They said the world was going to end 50 years ago because of aerosol cans and global cooling. Yeah, the big ice age. That. So I give all that. I gotta be a little skeptical when people say things like that. Yeah, don't eat lead. Don't lick it. I think the most dangerous part of lead work is old lead. From churches where the lead becomes very brittle and powdery, and you start using a grinding wheel, brass brush to clean the lead, and you're shooting all that lead dust in the air. Gets all over your clothes. I think that's probably the most dangerous part of lead work. But soldering stained glass, don't breathe the fumes. I don't think the fumes of the flux is going to hurt you more than any lead that's in those fumes. And touching the solder, I mean, it's not going to, and it's difficult for me to even say this because then it's like, oh, Gary said this. No, I'm not buying into the full 100% scare tactic of avoid lead. I'm just not buying it. I'm just not. I'm not all on board with it. I think there's more things in our environment that are much more toxic. Like turf builder with nitrogen in it. What that does to the water. All the antidepressants that end up in the water system, in the rivers, and because they don't, the drugs never go away. It's killing everything we eat that comes out of the water. I mean, I don't know. That's just my thought on it. See the fish with 3 eyeballs. Not worried about the fish having a little lead in it or mercury. The tuna with the mercury. We used to play with mercury, and we used to put mercury in our tooth fillings. They'd fall out. You'd like, yeah, that's that funny flavor. Oh, it's mercury. You just swallowed a life dosage in 10 seconds. It's like, you felt a little queasy for a day or two, but you're over it. Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't healthy, but it didn't kill you. I'm not buying it. The lead scare. I'm not on board. So, I've been around it all my life. My dad brought it home with him, and we worked with it, and this and that. Back in the day, cars burned leaded gas. Lead was on the roads and everywhere. And Grandma had it on her cans. Anyway. All right, with that, thanks, guys. Thanks for being the guinea pig today. I had to open this up so I can fix my chat. I think I got it working now, so I can actually see what you guys are seeing and doing and saying. I don't know why it disappears when I do this. It's just kind of odd. It's like, but it kind of only appears when I have the software open. But that's all right. I can also, work off the software. I can see the forum here. Actually, yeah, I could see it pretty well. So I was just browsing the forum. That's why it kind of jumped off. Let's see. And set it up for next time. So it's clean. Shrink this a little bit. I think that's it. I think that's it. Yeah, I'm messing with it now. I think that's it. Let's see. Yeah, that's good. All right, and thanks again, everybody, for chiming in for chat tonight. And I hope you know learned a few little things and uh, got to know a little bit more about me. My thought process, and uh, I'm human. I get a little, I don't say emotional, but I get worked into I think too much. I put it that way. You gotta think too much. It's been a problem I had for a long time. I just and I got yeah I don't know talk. I had an issue over at another forum. It's this one that I wanted to be a part of because I've been with I don't know if you guys know, but I was part of the Wiki team many years ago, say in the mid '90s, when the internet was in its infancy. I was actually a Wiki moderator, for Wiki.com, Wikipedia, and what they did is they allowed you to, certain areas like the crafts and this. So I was in charge of that whole section. The Wikipedia was a format where people can enter data. They can actually write the data for Wiki, and then it shows that it was edited. Well, it was my job, and it was voluntary, to review any kind of reports on editing and review the actual editing itself. And everything had a timestamp. Like if somebody changed a word, it would say that this word was changed. And that was the beauty of Wikipedia. And contributors, anyone can contribute, as long as you weren't banned. And I had the power to ban somebody from Wikipedia, which I didn't really do. I mean, I might have done a few times. But the spin-off from that is this place called Reddit. Reddit.com. I don't know if they were first and Wiki came last, but it's basically the same kind of formatting as the old Wiki formatting, but using more post-like content like Facebook does, but almost in a Wiki feel to it. It's very similar. And they actually call a lot of their areas of Reddit their Wiki or subreddits and all that. It's kind of formatted in the same generalized, the way the whole place is set up. Anyway, the bottom line with Wiki is being that it's or Reddit for that matter, it's very popular as far as user and popularity. You got millions and millions of people using it, and for that reason, it becomes a very notable format or place to you could share content. It's like Facebook. Facebook has a nicer format, but it also Wiki's more of a nerdy kind of place. You could actually make avatars and sell them, and there's a lot of coding going on. I mean, it's right up my alley. Man, I actually got into the developer stages over on Reddit. So I do Reddit developer stuff. That's really boring. It's coding and stuff. And I'm when I was younger, my brain worked, my synapses worked a little better, but I could still do it. I was like intrigued about it. So the bottom line is, I'm on YouTube, my videos, and I share my YouTube over at Facebook, and people, they watch it and they're like, oh, good video. I got my glass cutting, I got the pattern making, and what have you. And I was like, you know what? I feel like I'm overstaying my welcome with Facebook. I said, you know, people start looking at me. I was like, this guy's just posting a lot of his YouTube on here. I don't want. So I was like, you know what? I had the feeling that maybe I was stepping a little too deep into that, which it's an honest feeling, and I didn't want to. That's why I said I think too much. I don't want people to say, Gary's doing it, and honestly, that's what I had to say earlier. YouTube does not pay. I mean, I'm lucky if I could buy cat food. I'm dead serious. I'm not kidding. So, but there is potential to make more money. You just need to get more followers and exposure and this and that. It could take years to get into that kind of position, but you still have to constantly provide content to get somewhat uh, of an income. I can't say unless you're doing these guys that repair cars and they got 1 million subscribers. You're doing stuff like that, you make some decent money. But in stained glass, you're not gonna get into that kind of monetary environment. It's just not gonna happen. But I like to share content. I said, and I was like, I'm going to share it. I mean, and if the people click on it, they'll like it, become a member, or support my videos. I'm all in. I'm telling you, it's not the money. It's really the money. Yeah, I wish I made a lot of money from it. I'm poor like everybody else. I just felt, if this is somewhat of a subsidiary income for me, let's have at it. Get back to doing YouTube, and the last thing I want to do is have the feeling that I'm using people to watch my videos for money. That's like the worst thing. I want the value of my videos to outshine any doubt that I'm doing it because I like doing the stained glass videos. Because I do. So what I did, get back to my wiki story, I took one of my videos, and when you click on your videos, I could show you, and it'll say, share it, share your video. Show others what you did. Share your video. You hit the share button, the first icon that pops up is Reddit. Right? It's the Martian-looking guy. And so you could share it to Reddit, and it'll select, choose. Oh, I'm a member of Stained Glass on Reddit. I've been there for 20 years. I don't know, long time. But I never, I read the Reddit. I read. I got a part of a coin collecting one. I was part of some kind of stock one. I don't typically go there because the formatting is really, it's cheesy compared to like Facebook, even Twitter or X. I like the formatting of Facebook, the community, the ability to build communities, have easy content sharing and all that. The pretty pictures. I mean, Facebook blows away Reddit any day. Point is, Reddit has been around for a long time. Well, the wiki part of it. It gets a lot of acknowledgement in search engines. You search for something, Reddit's going to pop up there like number 1 or 2. And I said, you know what? I'll get a couple people from Reddit to look at my videos. So, and I never shared to Reddit. I said, let me share to Reddit. It was one about joining my membership. You join my membership, you get all kinds of perks, and I'll give away gifts, and it's a really good deal. It's like, you're going to follow me, I'm going to take care of you. That kind of deal. And it's true. I give away a lot of stuff. I have the giveaways and not contests, patterns, and I'm always adding to it. I'm not going to let people just feel like they're paying for a membership to my YouTube channel, and it just allows you to see a video earlier than everybody else once a month, or you get a box of scrap glass. I'm not going to do that. I'd feel guilty. It's like, pay for a membership and, give them a box of glass, scrap glass. Well, I'm going to make it worth your while. I mean, you're going to give me money, or send YouTube money for that matter. I'm going to send it back. Because I'm about making the videos, not about making money. Though it does help. And I'll be upfront and honest about it. It's like, you know what? If I made more money doing YouTube, I'm like okay with that. And it's like, you get rewarded for doing a good job. So anyway, I shared a video on Reddit stained glass. It's one of the key out areas of Reddit, not key, but / stained glass. And I said, oh, here's the video, and somehow I overlooked, they got these little things that if it's an ad, you got to click this thing, but if it's this, you got to click that, or this, you got to click that. And it wasn't an ad. It was just to show my YouTube video. And YouTube popped it in my face, share it to Reddit. So I said, all right, I'll share it. I didn't read all the fine print. I said, I just share it to Reddit. Hoping to get more members and, so they could benefit from my videos. And, let them know I'm here. It wasn't selling anything. It's just that, say, hey, this is what I do for my members. And I say, join. I showed with some of the things. Well, the moderator there, he sent me a warning. And then I'm going back to when I used to use Gmail. I don't use Gmail. I use it to sign on to my Google account, but I use passkeys and all that. I never ever go to Gmail, ever. I have turned off notifications because if you know Gmail, and they've since gotten better, but back years ago, you open up a Gmail email, it's littered with advertisements. You can't even read your email half the time because you got to roll through all the advertisements. So I stopped using it. And being the tech guy I am, I have my own servers and, my own internal mail service stuff and applications. So I go ahead and, I use email that way. And Apple Mail on Macs works actually really well. And, I would use anything else but Gmail. Because it's very invasive. So anyway, the guy sent me things, hey, that's not supposed to be there. You're supposed to put down that it's an ad. It's a flavor thing. I don't know. It's some weird thing that they have. So I was like, I didn't see the message. So I go back, I don't know, I got back to, I was doing something and I got a notification, or I somehow got back onto Reddit just the other day. And I see all these notifications on the Reddit website. You've been banned, you've been this. And I was like, what did I do? I didn't do nothing. So I look at it, it's like, you didn't respond. We banned you, and this and that and the other thing. I was like, oh, geez, I just shared a freaking video. And he's, oh, if it's an ad, and they allow ads, you can put an ad on there. You got to say it's an ad. I said, well, I didn't see that, and I didn't look at my Gmail. I didn't get the notification. I'm bad, my bad, I'm sorry. Well, I was banned. Well, it turns out I dug a little bit further, and I looked at the content and the banning of the content. Turns out 3 or 4 members of that Reddit group started piling up on me with the harassments, defamation. They're actually calling me names and referring to me as this and that. I'm not going to repeat it. So I was like, wow. Talk about setup. I think these people, look, if you're the moderator, remove the content. You don't have to ban me, but you could message me, say, hey, we took it down because, you shouldn't do that or do it this way. I would be like, okay, I'm sorry, my bad. But no, they just banned me. I'm no longer, I cannot even post there. So I was like, wow, that's a little extreme. So it turns out, I started digging. I was like, yeah, and then I found 3 or 4 people. Gary's this, Gary Summers that. The defamation was extreme. They started mentioning me by name and this and that, all about, their hate, the innuendos about how they hate me. And that stayed. They took down my post, but that stayed. So lo and behold, you search Google for me, guess what pops up? That post. But they left it up. They left up the content on the post, but they took the post down. So I went to the moderator. I said, look, you got to take that down. His answer was, well, you can't stop me from telling people what to say about you. I said, absolutely I can. That's defamation. So there's a thing you can do on Reddit. You report it to the Redditors, the people in charge, which I did. And I did about 10 of them. I said, I reported this one, I reported that one. And I also contacted each one of them. I said, look, you got to take down your content because I don't play around. And anybody knows me, the background I have in this, the whole internet thing, you don't want to play with me. You really don't. I will be above. I will come out above. And that's not bragging. I know how to do this. And I also, I gave it a day. I said, I'll let them chew on it. I said, all right, I'm going to go into the cease and desist. I said, if, you don't remove the content, I need and will contact an attorney for defamation. It's clearly defamation, what they were doing. You can't say things about people in derogatory terms and ways. You can't do that. You just can't. Especially a public person. I'm actually a public figure. I'm a copyright author and all that. You can't do that. That's it harms me financially. It harms me personally. The defamation was severe. So anyway, I said, if it's not removed, I'm going to have to contact an attorney and have them send a deceased, letter to knock it off. Well, nothing. Crickets. Now, they could easily go to that post and say, click delete, but they chose to leave it up there. Now I'm left with a decision. Do I push? Do I go further? I said, you know what? There's one other thing I know. I have the ace in the hole. Google, whose search engine provided this content, they bend over backwards to help people who are dealing with cyberbullying, online harassment, defamation. All you need to do is point it out. And once you do, you start a report with Google. You have to sign things digitally and swear under oath, like a digital affidavit, the truth, nothing but the truth. But there's nothing that you can dispute about it. You just read what was said. You share the link where that content is. You say who you are. You digitally sign it. You swear on the oath, the truth, nothing but the truth. And Google does not mess around. They will contact Reddit. They will shut down that stained glass Reddit group. Hopefully. Or just get rid of, instead of shutting it down, get rid of the moderator or the idiot in charge and the other people who brought up, who were guilty of defamation, cyberbullying. So that's it. These people don't get it. I know the back door. I know how to get. I mean, it's Google's website. It was Google search. It showed in Google search direct defamation toward me. That's not going to put, it's not going to sit well with Google. And Google, they have a thing called a blacklist. And once you get put on a blacklist, you can't be taken off, no matter what you do. It's basically taking that URL, which is it's the syntax for HTTP, the web address. It takes that web address and removes it from all indexing. So basically it's non-existent. It may still be on Reddit, but it will never ever show up in any search result. And that's what Google does. It's called Google Blacklist. And they don't mess around. And I've had to take that step. I usually don't do that. I had to do that one other time from a person who stole my intellectual property. She stole my pattern, called it her own. I had to prove. I went to Google. I took I took photos of my book with the pattern in it that was published, 2003, whatever it was. And she's claiming that she did it in 2016. I said, well, you went back in time, how many years? I think it was 2004. I had a digital footprint of the pattern, digitized, on my computer. I showed the Wayback Machine of my pattern on a Google Wayback Machine. I had that proof. I had my published book, copyrighted, with a publisher, and that's the real copyright. Once you put in a book and it's published by a noted publisher, it becomes copyrighted material. Anybody looking to protect their intellectual property, that's how you do it. And beyond getting digital proof, which you make a file on your computer, it tells you the date it was made. I had all this proof. I had the links lined up. Well, Google immediately got back to me within probably 2 hours. They got back. Oh my! Look at that. We apologize. It wasn't their fault, but they were like, geez, look at that. And I said, I go, yeah, she's stealing my stuff and telling me to go pound sand. I'm like, that's not working with me. So they put her website on a blacklist. She don't even exist. All right, so that's what happens. And I don't want to ruin somebody's life, but first of all, you can't steal like that. You can't steal somebody's intellectual property and call it your own. And when they ask you to remove it, tell them to pound sand. You just don't do that. As well, you don't, slander somebody in a public forum that gets indexed by Google. When someone searches me, they spell my name, and they happen to trigger a keyword in that defamation, my name pops, the whole thing pops up. They're mentioning Guy's name, saying, Guy, he's a weirdo too, but he's got good prices on solder, and but his brother Gary, he's a freak and this and that. I get, and this is going on and on. Going on about the tariffs. It's like, I mentioned once that tariffs aren't going to kill the economy. Everybody laughs. Oh, it's going to put us in World War III, and it's going to put us in a whatever. No, it never did. It did the complete opposite. I was right, and I don't blow it. I said, what? It's not going to happen. I said, you're going to watch the investment of these companies that make lead and stained glass and this and that. The prices are going to come down with competition in the U.S. So the tariffs were a good thing. It's going to spark more investment in the United States, which I'm right. It's happening. It's been done, and it's there, and it's moving on, and it's getting better every day. But you can't explain that to somebody who just blindly disagrees and says, you know what? It's not about Trump or this and that. He's saying, well, and they are anti-Trumpers. I'll say that, because they are. And they immediately assume I'm a MAGA Trumper. I'm not. I'm an American. And the thing about tariffs, immediately the anti-Trump people in society and government beat it down. You know, the media, oh, the end of the world, and all these people bought into it. And I was like, you know, use your head, understand what the whole thing is about. But no, they bought it hook, line, and sinker. So naturally, if you talk about it and try to discuss it, these same people who hate you for other reasons, because you don't believe the way they believe, immediately attack you just on that one subject. You know, just you know, and that's how these people act, and they do it so loosely and without thought of what they're doing. I mean, the defamation part of it, and what they said about me, and I won't repeat it because my video is going to be indexed. But I want to make it clear my side of this and how I know it should not be done in an open forum. It's beyond illegal. It's unethical. It's scroungy. It's despicable. It's like you don't do that. You can hate me to the cows. You can hate me in every way you want. You can't go online and write such content about anybody. You know, especially if it's not true. You could, public governmental things. Oh, Trump this and Schumer that. That's different. That it's not coming from a higher source. It's coming from somebody who just doesn't like him. Well, you know what? Though you're a Reddit commentator and you make a comment about, we're kind of peers here. We're not. I'm no better than you. You're no better than me. So, by you're putting that content out there, gives it validity. Right? And if you don't understand that, that's where it becomes damaging. I'm not this big public figure that is immune to that kind of stuff. It's not the case. I'm just like everybody else. Anyway, so they got something coming, and I'll check again if it's still there. I'm just going to report it again to Reddit. I'm sure if Google got my report, which was yesterday, it will be resolved. And I'm sure they're going to get in touch with me. And, you can't do that. Just can't do that. Arthur. Another comment. I appreciate the work you put into everything, bud. And yes, the perks are pretty. Yeah, I mean, Arthur, I appreciate you saying that. And people say, yeah, right. I mean it. I am a giver. I like when people say, wow, thanks, Gary. I mean, it really means a lot to me. I mean, that's the reward I get. I mean, I make stuff out of thin air. I make my patterns. I do this and do that. And if I have to buy things to give away, this stuff, and and if I could share my history in stained glass and perspective and my family, it's all good. And that's what I do. I mean, I like to, I watch videos of, master craftsmen, they doing their crafts, and like, wow, look at that, look what he's doing, and they share a few little trade secrets, and they kind of wow you a little bit, and they deserve it. I mean, hey, they have the skill. You watch anything, it could be a dancer, it could be someone flipping a pizza. I mean, it's just like, wow, they're sharing that with us. And I'm the same way. I'm not gonna. I'm not saying I'm dying tomorrow, but I'm not gonna live forever. And the more I can make people happier for the day of the moment, the better it is for me. It's like a it's like I don't really feed off. It's a good vibe, It's like make people happy, and that's what it really boils down to. I really do like making people happy, and I hope you enjoy the perks, Arthur. Yeah, yeah, it's not easy, I got haters. I mean, they're out there. Like my videos, I do an innocent video how to write your name on lead and the thumbs down, the thumbs down. How could that be? I could write a post about the color of the sky. Oh, the thumbs down, the thumbs down. It's like, come on, grow up. If they do that, that's what I'm up against. So, and then these Reddit people, and they took a chance. So, this is Gary. He's that guy from Stained Glass Pattern. He's the guy, who does these videos. This is our chance to really get a shot at him. And they did. And I'll tell you, I'm not warning. I'm saying, you know what? You did the wrong thing. You're going to get it. And I am not going to stop. I'm also a persistent bugger. I mean, I stand on principle, and I give a darn what's right and what's wrong. And you're wrong. And I'm not gonna stop until it's not satisfaction and putting you down and shutting you down. It's not that. But I asked a simple thing: just get rid of the defamation. Just get rid of the content. It's a click. So you know what? I didn't know, you stupid little rule. Oh, you got to tag it with something. You tag. It wasn't an ad. It was just a, public service PSA. Hey, you join my membership, you get this. Here's my little videos, a 2-minute video I made. Yeah, you join, look what you get. I shared it to Reddit. And that deserves a full ban from that whole place. A full out ban. And they did it because I didn't respond. Well, I don't go to Reddit every day, and I don't use my Gmail. And even if I had a forwarding thing on Gmail, you know how many emails I get? I get over 20,000 emails a day, of legitimate emails from this and that, and I get a lot of emails. So yeah, I might have missed it. I might have came through. Excuse me, I wasn't feeling well. But ban me? You could have just removed the post, and left a note. So when I came back around, I said, "Oh, we removed your post." I said, "Oh, my bad. I gotta look at what I'm doing, being careful. I gotta make sure." But it was like an automated thing from YouTube, so I didn't go there and post a link. I just pushed that button, and said, "Oh, share it to Facebook, share it to Reddit, whatever." That's all I did. Well, the truth come out. These people have it out for me. And they proved it. They proved it with their deflammatory rhetoric. It was horrible. I'd love to share it. Hopefully it's down by now. I didn't check. But you know what? I'm also a fighter. So what I did the right thing. I created a group on Reddit. Immediately, I used to be a wiki moderator. Very few. They were an elite club. I made a group called Glass Patterns. Reddit/Glass Patterns. So that's a new group. And I started posting on it, and I won't allow defamation. If you come on there and you start tearing somebody up, tearing someone down, this and that and the other thing, I will take care of it. That's what you do when you're a moderator or administrator. I mean, it's brand new. I made it yesterday. I say, you know what? You want a war? You got 150,000 members? Watch this. I mean, Reddit and their exposure blows away Facebook. Maybe not blows it away, but they got a pretty high ranking ability. If you want to know anything about SEO and page rank and this and that, they get a lot of people. to one way or the other. So, you got 120, I don't know, I think it was 120,000 members. And it's quite a bit. But they don't know. I can easily pass that. I know I can. The right way and the way I work, the way I do things. I got 186 on Facebook. And I've given away groups. Now, I walked away from 100,000 members in another group. I gave it to somebody. I just couldn't deal with it anymore. And somebody actually offered me a lot of money for another group I had years ago on Facebook. And I said, what? I really don't want the money, but if you're going to pay me something, here's my open PayPal address. Take it you want, but it's yours. Here you go. And the guy gave me a nice chunk of change for it. I mean, you're not supposed to sell groups, but the guy tipped me. He said, here's a tip. It's like, I didn't say no. But, yeah, he has no clue what he's up against. I mean, I was a SEO, I would say expert. I excelled in SEO back in the day. I know how to work algorithms. I know all about, and it's not tricks. It's creative internet or HTML to get top searches, top results. And you could do that on Reddit quite easily. This guy has no clue what he's about to see. And you know what? I'm a fighter, so you got me once. Guess what? I'm not only going to get you shut down, I'm going to replace you. And that's what I'll do. And I'll give it to somebody. So you know what? You're nice. Here, take this group. It's yours. And hopefully it's somebody they don't like. And that's how I work. And these people, they've got a nasty streak, and they're reckless. How do you moderate a group like that? I don't care if it's Reddit, Facebook, anything. X. What's the other ones? I don't even know. Twitter. You can't be that way. You can't rule by hand or have a bias in any way. I was accused of it in Facebook many times, and it's just because I had to make a stand on one way or the other, and the people that didn't like it got really upset, and the people that liked it, appreciated it, liked it a lot. And I didn't do it for favoritism. I did it. I weighed out the checks and balances. Sometimes you have to do that. And wasn't a big issues most of the time. It's small decision type things, but you have to make those. But the last thing you do is you allow people to act out with cyberbullying, especially when it's brought to your attention that they're doing it. And this moderator, administrator guy said, I would say exact words. He said, "You can't stop what people say about you online." I was like, "What? Really? Okay." And he kept calling me mate, so I think he's from Australia, but they have really lax rules. But in America, you don't play that game. You don't play that game. So, and I'm not your mate, okay, mate? I'm not, anyone who's from Australia, I apologize. I didn't mean that way. This guy clearly, he was being derogative, trying to downplay it and, like, hey, have a nice day, mate. It's like, schnicker. I could tell what's going on. And, he's going to get his. I promise that. So if you're ever at Reddit, look up Glass Patterns. That's a new Reddit. Anyone can join. Anyone can contribute. It's free. Don't be a jerk. Don't be an idiot. Play by the rules. There's no secret tags you got to put in. This is an open forum. Somebody reports something, it's going to be gone like Facebook. I'm going to go back to my old Wikipedia days. That's what I feel. It's like Wikipedia, very much. The whole formatting. And here I am. I'm chewing on a fat too long. I hope you guys. I hope I didn't bore you to tears. I probably did. But if you hear that long, I don't even know how long. 2 hours and 50 minutes. That's a long time. It's like a 3-hour show. And I'm hoarse. But I'm glad I got my chat back. Worked out. It was a software glitch. It was I had a competing software for my audio. It was a Twitch extension. I don't even use Twitch. That's what caused it, and it was also caused by an accelerator on my application. It was like an enhancer that shouldn't be enhancing. I don't know how that got turned on. Maybe I accidentally flipped it on trying to fix some other issue. I don't recall. But the best thing to do if you have any kind of software issues like that, just dump the whole thing and re-download it and start from scratch. It's not that hard to do. Even my opening page, it was just an image with a little thing, welcome. I could replicate that and or make a new one that looks similar or better. But I think I even saved it. We'll see. But yeah, if you do any software stuff, you ever get stuck? I mean, it happens. I mean, I'm not a software engineer, but I understand how software works. How it has to handshake different applications. And if you have a problem, something's not working right, you just got to get rid of the whole bath and the baby in all the water at one time. Get rid of it and reinstall it. And make sure you clean any trailing evidence of, because they do sometimes leave preferences and preference folders and other extensions. You got to watch for that. So I recommend if you have a Mac, it's a cheesy name. It's called Clean My Mac. I paid $50 for it. It's a lifetime thing. I think they upped it to $75. I easily paid it because this software does everything. It cleans your Mac, and if you delete an app, like say I get rid of an application, Clean My Mac opens up. Say, oh, before you do that, you got to get rid of this, that, and the other thing. I never would have known it was there. And Clean My Mac comes along, said, if you're going to remove that app, let's get rid of this. I'm going to make sure you do it right. And it does. And it found stuff in resource folders that I never knew existed. And it cleaned it up. So if you have a Mac, Clean My Mac. And get the lifetime. And you won't regret it. I mean, I don't buy much software. I buy Pixelmator Pro. It was $50. Amazing software. It just incredible on a Macintosh. It's what I use for my patterns, and for manipulating, cleaning, glass swatches, you name it. I've only touched the surface of this software. But between Pixelmator and Clean My Mac, that's all you need other than the native software that comes on the Mac, on a computer. So if you are a Mac fan, I have a lot to share. I've been with Apple back in the floppy days, the 93, 94. And you're bragging about 33K modem dial-up. I'm sure some of you are that old. Oh, you got a 56K modem. Oh, look at you. Anyway, I'm going to close out on this one. Thanks for the ear. I really appreciate it. And if I did bore you to tears, I apologize. And with that, I'm going to say goodbye. And everybody have a really nice day. You take care.